Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Healing Empath, a space for emotional clarity, inner peace, and deep transformation. If you're on a journey of healing, self-discovery, or you're just trying to understand your sensitivity, you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Instagram at the Healing Empath 80 for quotes, daily insights, and support. So now we're going to dive into today's topic. All right, so today's topic, Today's topic is about being an empath and how to know you are one. So what is an empath and how to know you are one? There's so many people that I've come across when I mention that I'm an empath. It sounds very mystical. It sounds interesting, but not everyone really understands the depth of what an empath is or how to even know you are an empath, because it kind of does sound cool, but there's so many layers to it that in order to know you are one, you would have to be in tune with your emotions and feelings and the experiences that most of us empaths feel. We pretty much all feel the same thing, pretty much, even if we became empaths in different ways. For instance, have you ever walked into a room and instantly you felt the mood shift in a room, or your mood shifted in a room? Have you ever cried during a movie, but not because of the story, but because you felt the pain of the character like it was your own? I'll never forget, years ago, a long, long time ago, when I was a child, I was watching All in the Family. And I'll never forget when Archie Bunker, I believe his name was, he called his wife Edith, he called her stupid. And I was about 12. And I cried so bad. I was born in 1980, so I believe those were rerun shows. They weren't new shows. I believe the All in the Family came out before I was born. But I was crying like so bad that I had to get tissue. Like it was like a bad cry, like those ugly cries. I was crying like terribly because he called his wife stupid, and I just felt that energy through the TV screen. Even though it was acting, it just seemed so real to me. So if you felt, compelled to cry or to feel really emotional about other people's sadness or things that they may be experiencing, even if it's happy, you might be more than just sensitive. You really might just be an empath. So what is an empath? That's the big question, right? What is an empath? Well, an empath is someone who doesn't just understand emotions, they absorb them. They absorb them all, like they feel it in their body, they feel it in their everywhere. They experience either joy, they can experience sadness, fear, anxiety. You just feel it all. You feel every single thing, even when it's not yours. So if it's yours or someone else's, it can be amplified. It's just the craziest thing. It's like having like an emotional Wi-Fi that's always connected, Like imagine your Wi-Fi being emotional and it's always connected. So we always have Wi-Fi at home, and that's what we are. We're open and we're always connected to everything. But again, this sensitivity, it's not a random sensitivity. It usually just often starts in childhood. And how you become an empath can reveal a lot about your healing journey. Just so much. So, how do people become empaths? So there are different paths to becoming an empath. I'm going to give you 3 right now. I believe there's a few more. but these are the three main ones that are maybe recognizable to you. So some were raised by emotionally open parents. So if you are a parent or your parent was an emotionally open parent, they grew up in a home, the child, where feelings were talked about, respected, and understood. So your empathy was nurtured, right? So empathy was nurtured. Again, and even though this example had came up, I get this, because it's obviously, an empath. But to me, I would look at this empath and say, they're a healthy empath. This is someone that is healthy. They're open with their emotions, but they know how to also control it. And then we have number 2, like the second path of an empath can become empaths out of survival. So maybe you had a parent who was a narcissist or bipolar or just unpredictable with their emotions, their anger, rage, So you learned how to read the room. You literally learned how to read the room as a small child. So you scan for danger and you manage other people's emotions just to be and feel safe. So I'm going to say that again. You learn to read the room, you scan it for danger, and you manage other people's emotions just to stay safe. So your empathy becomes your shield. And then you have some empathic nature people will awaken after trauma or an emotional upheaval. And surprisingly, I just met someone that told me she became an empath through a loss, through a heartbreak of someone that she dared, very close to her and her family. And I haven't heard that one before, but because this came up, I said, wow, that is just a confirmation that an empath can come out of other things outside of abuse. So some empaths can become empaths through loss, heartbreak, and that can be like a moment that cracked you open and you never quite close it again. Right? You never close that again, because empaths, they're often born in the fire and shaped by it. Okay, so here's some quick signs that you might be an empath. So if you're still wondering, am I an empath? Here are a few signs. You feel emotionally drained after being around people. You sense when someone's lying, even if they smile. You avoid conflict because it feels physically painful. You need time alone to reset often. You feel emotions deeply, sometimes too deeply. And people often come to you with their pain and their drama, and you're always listening and helping people with advice. Even when you feel like it's draining you, you'll still show up for someone. So if this sounds like you, you're likely an empath. You're likely an empath. Isn't that something that it's just, to me, I just find it like really interesting how all these things can create such a sensitive, spirited being having a human experience. So being an empath, it can absolutely feel like a burden. It can feel like a gift. It can feel like a curse. But once you learn to protect your energy, it becomes a gift, a superpower. Not everyone can feel what you feel, and that's okay. You're not broken. You're not weak. You're built to heal. So subscribe to my channel if you're on a healing journey. This is just the beginning.